Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Legends of Sport podcast. I'm your host, Andy Bernstein. And believe it or not, this is season 7 of the Legends of Sport podcast. I can't believe it. We've done 6 full seasons. We're back for season 7. And we're back in style because we brought the podcast to Las Vegas for USA Basketball's Olympic Showcase. It was the 50th anniversary of USA Basketball, and I have so much history with so many people who attended. We were thrilled to get so many interviews that we'll be bringing to you throughout the summer in episode after episode. So please continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell all your friends to follow us on Instagram at Legends of Sport, and sit back and enjoy these episodes from USA Basketball's 50th anniversary celebration. On this first episode, we're thrilled to be bringing you 2 great Olympians. First up is John Stockton, a member of the 1992 Dream Team, also a gold medalist in '96 in Atlanta. John played 19 years in the NBA and made the playoffs every single year. He's the all-time assist leader, and that probably will stay forever because it's an incredible record. John was really, really gracious to come by, and thrilled to have John on the podcast. Following John, we have Lynette Woodard, an incredible Olympian, won an Olympic gold medal in 1984. Lynette was the first female member of the Harlem Globetrotters and played in the WNBA late in her career. Wonderful, wonderful person to talk to. So thrilled to have Lynette on the podcast. Please sit back and enjoy these great conversations. And as always, I'll see you on the backside. Well, this is a pleasure and an honor to be sitting with the great John Stockton, Legends of Sport podcast, the 50th anniversary of the USA Basketball. You were a huge part of that, of course. I was there, 92. Could we talk about the whole Dream Team experience and maybe 1 or 2 memories that just stick out in your mind of being part of that team?
Well, oddly enough, the first memory is getting the call.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, guys like me don't get those calls. And I remember receiving that call and kind of thinking it was a surprise or thinking it was a joke.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, I'm going to have to check with the team. I'm going to have to check with my wife, a couple things like that. And I remember there was a pause on the other end of the phone. It was Rod Thorne. And I don't think he understood that what he was asking, that I understood it. So I called back, obviously, in a hurry. And that was quite a thrill to be asked to be part of that team, special team.
What an experience. I mean, that first meeting in San Diego, when you were in the room with all of those guys, all Hall of Famers now, of course, but they were pretty much Hall of Famers then, too. You felt like you belonged there? Did you feel like, I deserve to be here and part of this team?
Well, I was there.
Yeah.
I've never questioned if you make a team, you don't ask questions why. And, clearly that was a thrill. Those were guys that I idolized for the most part, and then had the opportunity to play with and against them on numerous occasions. And the luster of that had worn off. They weren't, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so at that point. But they were still legends of the games and guys that I was so looking forward to playing with. Yeah, yeah.
The one person that gets a little bit overlooked about Dream Team is Coach Daly. I mean, I remember what a wonderful person he was. But, he ran a pretty tight ship, right? I mean, I think he knew the egos and everybody's stature, but he also demanded a lot of respect, I thought.
Well, he clearly had won championships. Everybody respected Chuck Daly, and I wonder what it would be like. I mean, it would have been fun to be a fly on the wall of those meetings to wonder what those meetings were like to coach a team like that.
Yeah.
It sure was. It sure was like playing with a bunch of guys with extraordinary basketball IQs, and you didn't need to break out a pencil and pad very often.
Yeah, that's true. So it was Chuck Daly as head coach, PJ Carlesimo, Coach K, Lenny Wilkins. I mean, that's an unbelievable coaching staff.
Yeah, what a group of minds there. Incredible.
John, did you play for Frank Layden when he was coach at the beginning of your career, right?
Yes. Yeah. First couple of 3 years was with Frank, and he retired mid-season. Yeah. And that's when Jerry Sloan took over for the rest.
Frank, Brooklyn guy, close to my heart. I mean, what a character. What a difference between him and Jerry Sloan, who is kind of a hard-nosed guy like you. I would think that your kind of play and Jerry's kind of play for when he was a player, they meshed really well, right? For all those years you were together?
Yeah, I think Frank, first of all, was misunderstood because he was a funny guy. And he took a team, I think it's the hardest thing in sports, to take a team that's a perpetual loser and find a way to make them perpetual winners. And I thought he made that transition and then handed the reins to Jerry.
Yeah.
And I, like you said, I think he and I were kindred spirits. Mm-hmm. There wasn't much room for fluff and other things like that. You just go out there, you tighten your belt a little bit and go to work. I sure can't complain about my coaches.
Yeah, incredible. So, John, 19 seasons, right? All with one team, which basically never happens. I mean, I think the last guy was Kobe, right, who played with 20 years with the same team. Tim Duncan, right, made the playoffs every year. It was a given that you guys were going to make the playoffs. Very infrequently injured. I think how many games? 20 games or something? 12 games? I don't even know in your whole career.
Yeah, I think I missed 4 in one season.
Yeah,
and then I missed somewhere at high teens in another season. But for 17 of them, I was able to play all the games, which is a good goal to have.
Yeah,
and I'm proud of that.
Unbelievable, and of course paired with the great Karl Malone for so many years, and you guys. Enshrined together with the 92 team, you, of course, as an individual in the Hall of Fame. You have statues outside the building, which is kind of crazy. I was there for the unveiling and for your retirement. When you look back at your career, I mean, what are you most proud of? Of course, the records that your record of the most assists will stand forever, I think. But what are you most proud of?
Well, I don't know. Kind of proud of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of my teammates, my coaches. We were a small market team.
Yeah. We
were, like you said, we were perpetual winners. We didn't get to win it all. We were at the doorstep a couple of times, but didn't quite get her done. And I'm proud of the relationships. I mean, it's certainly the things I miss from the playing days most are the relationships, those bus rides and the conversations and the freedom.
Yeah.
The freedom to say and do without threat of repercussions. Yeah. Those conversations are irreplaceable. So, what am I most proud of is just, I think, the consistency and the
consistency. That would be a word I would put with you. Yes.
And we brought it every night, whether it was always successful or not. We at least brought it. I thought.
I have a kind of an interesting memory of being around your team, and I was around the Jazz a lot because you guys went deep into the playoffs and into the finals twice, and my job with the NBA was to be on the inside, and get some locker room stuff. And you probably don't remember this, but the locker room was kind of sequestered back there at the Delta Center. And the NBA said, well, go in and get some shots of the guys getting ready. And I had never been in the Jazz locker room, right? So I go in there and the guard looks at me weird. And I go in and you and Carl were on the table, right, with your trainer. And you both looked up at the same time. It was a look of like, you better get the hell out of here before somebody throws you out. It was a closed society back there, right?
Yeah, and I think that you should be entitled to that. I mean,
you're right. It was just a funny moment for me.
Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, you're preparing to go to work, and it's serious business, and I think guys prepare different ways. And so I always felt that was amongst other times in and around a game, that's yours.
Yeah,
it's yours
for sure.
to get ready.
Yeah. So you played until you were 41?
Yep.
Wow. So here we got a guy, LeBron James, going into his 22nd season, right? He's going to be 40, I think, during that period. His son is going to be playing at the same time. And your son, of course, David, I was around him quite a bit. Yep. What advice would you give him? Because, I mean, two different guys and everything, and he took care of his body and still does, as you did when you played. But to last that long in the NBA is unbelievable, especially in your era.
Well, I don't know that I'd give anybody advice. I mean, everybody has their own path and their own way of trying to prepare and get it done. And clearly, LeBron's been one of the all-timers. I mean, you just, the numbers are there. You can't object.
Yeah. Who are you most excited about seeing here at the USA Basketball celebration?
I don't know that I've singled out. I don't know who's coming.
Yeah.
First of all, I wouldn't say it's going to be a surprise. I saw every Olympics growing up from that I could probably remember, maybe 68 on. And I'm looking forward to seeing those faces and then some reminders of how those games got. It's going to take me back. Yeah,
that'd be wonderful. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you coming by.
Thanks,
I mean,
Andy.
it's been a long time. I've been wanting to get you on the podcast, and I know you like to not do, too many interviews, so I really appreciate you taking the effort to do that today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Well, welcome, Lynette Woodard, to the Legends of Sport podcast. It's a thrill, really, to have you on the podcast. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, and we're here celebrating the 50th anniversary of USA Basketball. of which you are a huge part of, right? So let's go back in time a little bit on the USAB history. So you were selected for the 80 team, which of course didn't go.
That's correct.
So talk about that feeling, because I've talked to, I think I talked to Nancy Lieberman about it, or Ann Myers Drysdale, and all the buildup and the anticipation, and then literally like the rug got pulled out of you.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I can remember training and preparing to, make the team.
Yeah.
And put in all the work. Didn't shortcut it in any way. And I was really looking forward, to going to the Olympics. I mean, it's a dream.
Yes.
First time it was happening. And then the phone call came, and it was said, well, there's a boycott. Well, I didn't quite understand what that meant. And surely it couldn't have meant, we were not going to the Olympics. I just thought maybe, we're going to boycott for a couple of weeks or something.
Right. Just make a statement and then go.
Yeah,
right?
and then things would get back on track. Yeah. But no, it was real. We weren't going to be able to go, and it was very heartbreaking. And it made you realize that, you're not in that little cubby hole of sport. You realize that politics were involved in a way that you could never have imagined, especially at that time and at that age. I just, wasn't that aware.
Sure.
But yes, it was very disappointing. And you just, you reel a little bit and you try to figure out, what positive can come out of this. I think our team was very fortunate because we got a chance to play all of the competition that we would have played had we gone.
Okay.
And so we had to do that to get the invitation and then turn around and decline it. So, we had that experience where other athletes and other sports did not. And so you had to take what you could get. And where it was disappointing, I was very fortunate on a personal level because I felt like I could wait again for 4 years because it was something that I certainly wanted to do and dreamed of. And that happened for me. But there are a lot of athletes, that was the end for them. And that's where it was really sad to think of those athletes as well. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I can't even imagine what that must have felt like. But like you said, fast forward a little bit to 84, you're on that team. You guys had a tremendous Olympics, right? Give me a memory from the 84 team, something with your teammates or being up there on the stand or whatever it was that.
Well, I mean, just to make it again.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to start the process all over. Everything, you were coming from scratch. And, there's other players now coming up the ranks. I was supposed to be an 80 and be done. So just to be able to come back and make that team, and then for it to be here in the United States, I just started gleaning all the positives. My family was going to be able to see it this time. Should we be able to play? And, it was women's basketball was lifted, and a lot of people, started to tune in, and we got a lot of publicity from that. We had players like Cheryl Miller, who was from the West Coast, and it just brought a lot of attention. For me, again, on a personal level, unbeknownst to me, a team that I had dreamed of playing for later, which was the Harlem Globetrotters, were sitting in the stands.
Oh, no way.
And they realized that, women had come a long way in the game, and with them being innovators, they had the idea, okay, we're going to have a female. And it was right after that that I was selected as the first female Harlem Globetrotter. So something beautiful came out of that for me, for all of us really, because we won the gold medal, and really we were just grateful to have that opportunity again, and then to do what we set out to do.
Sure. This has been an amazing experience being the first female Globetrotter. I mean, I actually remember, now I'm thinking about it, I remember the photos and they were promoting you, and it wasn't like a publicity stunt. I mean, it was like, for real.
It was for real for me.
And it was cool,
Like
right?
that,
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching the Harlem Globetrotters. I photographed them. it's a whole different type of basketball entertainment, so to speak.
Yes.
But what was the experience like overall for you?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, just the wizardry that the Globetrotters are known for.
Mm-hmm.
Just learning to handle the basketball in such a way that it just looked effortlessly.
Yeah.
In anything that you would do with it. And just being a goodwill ambassador, being able to travel all over the world, being with those personalities of those guys that just knew how to make people really feel good and just love the game and just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's interesting because I talked to Nancy and I talked to Ann and you guys didn't have a professional league to aspire to, right? The Olympics was really the top, the apex of accomplishment as a female basketball player, right? So the Globetrotters, of course, was professional, but you had to go to Italy to play, right?
Yes.
And unfortunately, there was no league yet called the WNBA to even set your sights towards. So what was the Italian situation? What was that experience like?
Oh, it was tough.
Yeah,
it sounded exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
I packed up, and yes, I went. But that first year was the toughest. I was
Where were
very
you?
homesick.
What city were you in?
I was in Schio, Italy.
Okay.
My first attempt. It was in northern Italy.
Okay.
But right, hour and a half, 2 out of Milan. But it was a growing experience for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't learning this time.
Yeah.
It was growing.
Yeah.
And then I found myself homesick a lot, but I was able to stick it out.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it just made me able to go and travel all over the world. You speak of Nancy and Annie. Annie, when I was in high school, I saw her trying out for the Indiana Pacers.
Right.
Just seeing that little bit on the news gave me inspiration and helped me believe that I could play for the team that I wanted to, which was the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right.
So just seeing that, it had a real big impact on my dreaming and my steps. And so I like to think about that's how the vision, the dream was formed.
Interesting, because I would think a lot of little girls were inspired by seeing you play for the Globetrotters, right?
I hope so.
Hey, I got some skills, I could play too, But still, it was a dream to have a professional league in, in the United States. You had to go to Italy. Then you get drafted. Once the WNBA starts in '97, you were 38 when you got drafted. I mean, I read this and I said, 38, really? Because I remember photographing you your first couple of years, and you not that you look 38 anyway, but you had some skills back then.
Yeah, I still got them though. Really, no, I'm joking.
Right.
It doesn't roll like it used to, but I still have fun shooting it out.
But how do you feel now with the WNBA and how far it's come? And, the fact that I have 3 daughters, right? And when they were little, they're 30 now. We used to go to Sparks games. They could care less about the Lakers and Clippers. They wanted to go see the Sparks play. They wanted to go see Lisa and Candace and all the great players. It must warm your heart a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
That this generation of young girls has something to look up to.
Women's basketball is just, it is catapulted to a whole other stratosphere. Yeah. I'm so happy to see its growth. Watching Caitlyn Clark coming through Iowa and all the attention that it brought, and the momentum is still going.
Yep.
But you're seeing players that you didn't know about or hadn't got the attention before, and it's just great to see that everyone can ride this wave and benefit from it.
Right.
It's for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Basketball is being played at a level that, some of the things I see these young players do, it's amazing.
Yeah.
They have amazing talent. They're working at their craft, and they're bringing a lot to the game. Not only the game, but they bring a lot of sass, a lot of fashion. It's a lot going on out there now.
It's amazing.
And it's pretty amazing. So,
the runway into the arena has become quite the thing.
I'm tuned in. What is she doing today?
I love it.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I hope it continues to grow.
Well, you brought up Caitlyn Clark, and of course she broke your all-time scoring record, right? Female all-time scoring college record, right?
Yes.
So Was that bittersweet or?
Well, to me, it's a different game. I played with the 2-point.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't have the 3-point shot. I played with the men's ball.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a different game.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you have the women's ball, which is smaller.
Okay.
The men's the 3-point shot. So however you want to say it, you flip the coin either way.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm just grateful that it's been 43 years since my record has been talked about. So high tide, all boats float. So I'm glad that she was scoring so that, some of the things that I've done in my career could be recognized. And however fate would have it, hey, it's great for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's a
Kansas, Iowa, we scored a lot of points.
Yeah, right. That's wonderful. Well, it's so great to meet you in person.
Thank you.
You in front of my lens, like I said, for a while, and that it was always fun to photograph you. But to meet you in person, you're an incredible ambassador for USA Basketball.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming, Lynette.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of the Legends of Sport podcast. I want to thank my terrific producer, Carlin Barker, our great engineer, Sean Gosser, and our wonderful crew led by Addison Shao and Will Allen. Special thanks to everyone at USA Basketball, and extra special thanks to Julio and Charlie for getting us some terrific guests while we were in Las Vegas. Big thanks to our friends at Fujifilm and Momento for providing really, really fun on-site photography. Thank you, guys. Folks, keep following us and keep subscribing to our YouTube channel. And tell all your friends to follow us on Instagram at Legends of Sport. See you all next time.